And we are live.
Welcome back to Let's Tech About That,
Where we tech about all the tech news.
especially that.
Man, we got a ton of topics. I feel like we went like 3 or 4 solid months of having between 0 and 4 topics.
Yep.
And then
And
since the pandemic hit, I think we've pretty much stayed in double digits on topics.
yes, and kind of as it's ending, we're getting more topics too.
It's going to be a pretty great week. There's a lot of things here worth talking about. And then things aren't worth talking about. There's ads covering them, so we're good.
Yeah.
We got the new Motorola Razr is already launching, for better or worse. I have a lot of blech about it.
Okay.
We were talking about this a while ago. Twitter trying to label tweets what if it's misleading about the virus or not. Looks like it went bad. Looks like it didn't work out for them. They tried.
We've talked about that for 2 weeks now.
Yeah. Ex-Microsoft boss doesn't use Windows. It's actually a wild story. It's not much to talk about, but it's a lot more than that.
Gotcha.
COVID-19 tracking is starting to get rolled out in nations that I cannot pronounce. So there's that. If you want to go for it, it's all you. NVIDIA's AI made a really cool video game in a matter of days without human interference or input or help, which is the amazing part about that one. We got some end-to-end encryption for your text messaging. No longer an Apple boy thing.
Yep.
Microsoft is doing some really weird things with patents, trying to figure out the future. I got a lot of gripe.
Fingerprint sensor in your earbuds.
I got gripe on that one.
Okay.
Chrome tabs are now grouped. I don't think I coordinated that one any worse, right?
We talked about this last week, but now you can actually enable the new feature.
And you get them real fast while I get us live.
Okay, yep. And then Nintendo Ring Fit is helping to keep you healthy during the days of quarantine. Guinness World Records starts claiming a bunch of Super Mario speedruns, all on accident. Google adds a new feature to Maps. Spoiler, it's ads built into Maps. Somebody watches and ranks all 170 Disney animated films. I've probably watched, I'd say maybe double digits, but not many more than 10.
I was about to say,
I haven't watched many Disney movies. I guess that would include Pixar movies, so maybe less than 20.
We'll go through all 107 of them and figure out how many of them.
Put check marks beside them.
Yeah.
In case we need extra content for the stream.
Yeah, we're gonna make it to that 10-hour mark this week.
Yeah. Zoom cares about your privacy and are removing features from its platforms.
It is.
Online dating doubled the freeloaders and lost the whales.
Man, I was so proud when I thought of that title.
I like that.
Because it's not the animal whales. It's a Japanese whale. I think that's what they call it. An Asian whale?
I don't know. I know in betting they call them whales, the people that lose all the money.
Whales are usually the big players. It's the ones you care about. So if, like you have, bad example, a couple people in your church donating all the money for tithing or donations. Those are the whales of the church. They're the ones that keep it going. I think it came something from Asia for like the whales were the fish that they cared about.
Okay.
Or something. I don't actually know where it came from. All I know is that whales are the important things. Those are the ones that people care about.
Gotcha.
So I was like, haha, because it's also like a fat shaming thing that happens all over online dating. And, you know, that double conundrum. Gotta have that.
Whale and whale.
Yeah. Whale, what do we have here?
Whale. It's a very deep subject. Ha ha ha. Classic joke.
All right, we're going to topics now.
Speaking of whales, this battery is like a whale.
No, not
it's
really.
It's big.
It's not really though.
Okay. The new Motorola Razr is launching later this year, or could launch later this year, with 5G and possibly a bigger battery.
So the rumors for the bigger battery, from my understanding, is 350 mAh bigger, which isn't that much. So it went from 2,845 up to 2,510, which I believe is like 250 ish, close, right? You're probably mathing it.
Something like that. I know recently I did buy a new phone, and it was either this phone or the Moto G Power, and I think the Moto G Power had like a 4,000 milliamp hour battery.
Yeah, so these batteries aren't big. Like my Galaxy S8, I think's in the 3,000s.
Okay. Wow. The Moto G Power has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery.
Yeah, so
5,000.
When you're talking going up, 250 mAh or whatever, you're not going up that much.
Gotcha.
You're checking Facebook one less time a day.
Mm-hmm.
What's best is on a couple of the comments here is apparently it's mostly just adding the 5G to the phone. Apparently the original Razr didn't have the 5G chip in it. So as Verizon's M-Wave 5G comes out, it'll work with it. But then this is also a top tier phone, so it's a phone that people who own it aren't going to use it by the time 5G gets fully rolled out for most places, I would think.
Gotcha.
And then they didn't fix anything with the hinge, and so there's still a hole clearly through the hinge. I might be able to pull up a picture, but we had talked about that before.
Yeah, and then even one of these comments on the Verge article says adding 350 milliamp hours isn't going to even offset the 5G power draw, because I guess the higher performance cell connection takes up more battery than just the 4G. So even though they're increasing the size of the battery, it may not even increase the lifetime of the battery.
This isn't the greatest picture, but here it is. It's right here. The screen actually separates from the body, and so dirt gets in there. And Jerry Rig Everything did a video on that. And gravel and sand and pocket lint and crap can just fall into it. And it's rumored that's not changed. They didn't fix it in any way.
Gotcha. So that's still going to be an issue with the new model.
Yeah. So it's a smartphone you can't put in your pocket, but it folds small enough to put into your pocket.
Yeah. Looks like maybe a little bit better camera. 2 extra gigs of RAM up from 6 gigabytes. And doubling the storage up to 256 gigabytes. So some improvements, but nothing like massive. Especially the hinge would have been a big thing.
Yeah, I think if they had fixed the hinge, it would have been worth a round 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I think keeping everything almost the same, except storage, and a little bit of RAM, a little bit of extra camera, but we don't even know if the camera quality is better. We just know it's a bigger megapixel. Yeah. Which more is not always better, as I'm using a 16 megapixel camera right now, and it's not a bad camera.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll see, I guess.
See if people have complaints. Speaking of complaints, we've talked about this for kind of the past 2 weeks, I guess. Talked about how Twitter is labeling potentially misleading COVID-19 tweets. And then we also talked about didn't we talk about something last week where they were positively labeling like confirmed tweets or something? Was it like Twitter or something else?
Instagram with the influencers?
Yeah, the Instagram guides.
That
or
was
the
it.
Instagram like certified therapists.
Yeah, Instagram guides. Yeah, there it is in Article 7. But
yes.
But yeah, so from my understanding of this brief overview that I did on it, it doesn't look like it's terrible. It looks like it's basically a bot. I mean, an algorithm. I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah.
But it's going and putting these little notifications here. I don't know if I can make this picture bigger. Can we do that? look at that. These get the facts about COVID-19. Anything that has anything to do with a couple keywords.
Okay, so they're like these triggers that are...
Yeah, they're trigger words that are just telling the bot to mark it. So even though someone might post 5G does not cause COVID-19, it still puts this huge blue exclamation mark that says, get the facts about COVID-19, which would make you think that that would be a lie due to that statement.
Possibly. But at the same time, it's not saying this is not true.
Yeah. Instead, it's just saying, get the facts on everything about the subject. So, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's not the result I think they intended to have.
Yes, I agree. I think that they call it natural language processing, basically getting the computer to understand what people are saying. I think that's a lot. I think that's super, super complicated for the AI to understand what a user is saying when they post stuff. So I think maybe they just had to put out a wider blanket and just say, like you said, using these trigger words, because it's so hard for it to really understand what they're saying.
Yeah, I almost think that's a better way to do it, because then they are not held to a higher standard or liability or something. And they're just like, oh, you're talking about this subject, get the facts, and then it's a link to WHO or CDC or whoever.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that, because it's not like Twitter is saying, it's not picking out specific tweets that's have false information. It's just all tweets about this topic.
Yeah. But it's definitely not what they intended. So that stinks.
Yes, and there's been so many articles talking about how it puts these warnings on misinformation. So if people think that these notifications are only appearing on misinformation, then having it appear on true information about an issue, that can kind of mislead people. Kind of like, I guess, from a marketing standpoint, if it gets marketed as something that it's not, it can mislead people.
The other idea about that makes this a good idea, just labeling it for everybody, is that the tone or the person behind the tweet might have a different tone on it, so they could say it sarcastically through text.
True.
And so they can be like, that lowercase, uppercase, lowercase, uppercase, lowercase, SpongeBob meme.
The SpongeBob, yeah.
Yeah. They could say the exact same thing, that 5G does not cause COVID, mocking people who are saying it. In which case, it's hard for a computer to understand. I would
Sarcasm.
think. Yeah, I think it would be a hard thing for a computer to understand, as a lot of people don't get it to begin with. Having a computer understand it.
Another big complaint about this is that when you tweet something and it gets labeled, Twitter isn't notifying the user who posted it, so they don't know that it's been flagged, and there's no way to appeal the notification. But really, I think that's kind of fine, because it's not like it's covering up their tweet. Really, it's just adding on extra information to the tweet. So,
which you don't think anyone would have gotten mad over adding extra information, but
yeah, that's my opinion anyway. But I mean, people get mad about anything, so I mean, you can't satisfy everybody, even if you're Twitter.
You've never tried satisfying her. Yeah,
you just don't even bother, really.
Yeah, speaking of not
satisfy the people that matter, satisfy the whales. And then...
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of satisfying people, the ex-Microsoft boss is now using an iPad Pro as his
Apparently
desktop.
He wasn't satisfied by Windows.
So this article is great for a specific reason. So the title's ex-Windows boss reveals his new desktop PC is an iPad Pro over at TechSpot. So the ex-Windows boss is not Bill Gates or that other guy that I can't remember the name of at the moment. It's not Wozniak.
I remember him either. Yeah.
But It's Steven Sinofsky. Don't know how to pronounce it. There it is on screen right there. And he is the man behind Windows 8. So he worked his way up to president of the Windows division in 2009 and then left in 2012. And he was the man that was in charge of what everybody does not like to talk about, which is Windows 8.
Yeah, that didn't quite work out.
And apparently he loves the iPad Pro experience as a desktop.
Mm-hmm.
So he posted a tweet saying new desktop PC with an iPad Pro and fully kitted out. He also included the pricing.
Wow.
So he has a 12.9 inch 256 gig iPad Pro Wi-Fi only model,
which is pretty small for a desktop screen.
Yep, a 13 inch screen.
Really
is not
small.
Not big at all.
That's kind of small on a laptop, actually.
Yeah.
Much less a desktop.
Those are considered like those hypermobile ones that, you know, college student would use to write papers or such.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But iPad was $1,100.
Which is crazy.
A $70 iPad stand. That is wild. A $100 keyboard, which is understandable for some keyboards, depending on what you get. He just got the Magic keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
$150 trackpad too. $130 pencil. I like that's called just pencil and not like iPencil or Apple Pencil or Mac Pencil. Yeah. So it could just be a lead pencil for all we know, right?
That's one expensive pencil.
A $5 right angle cable. And a $10 7-in-1 dongle. I do like that he went the extra mile and got the right angle adapter so that he didn't have the weird cord dripping off.
Yeah, cable sticking out of the side and like down to his power, I guess.
Yep. The total setup was about $1,500.
That's probably more than my PC cost.
Man, that's more than the entire streaming setup. That's more than
including
all the tech.
Camera.
Yeah, yeah, including camera, microphone. Oof. But, you know, it's about the experience, and if that's the one he wants, then he did it right.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's trying to forget Windows 8, like you said, so.
Yeah.
People may question his judgment, which is fair.
Yeah, but then, like, on the other hand, I would argue that the iPad OS is very Windows 8-esque. It's comparable more than saying Windows 7 or Windows 10 is an iPad experience.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I can see that because Windows 8 is just like nothing like Windows.
Yeah, it was
at all.
So far off.
Yeah,
but
which is crazy to think about.
Here's a weird question: do you use the YouTube old streaming platform Control Room?
Yes.
Is there a way to see the likes? Really off-topic question for a hot
not
second.
in real time, I don't think.
Okay.
But the reason I use the old,
it's because it works,
is because it doesn't reset my stream key every time.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure if I use the new one, it resets the stream key. Do you use the new one?
I use the old one because it just works every time I open it up.
Yeah. I think that using the new one resets my stream key every time, which is kind of an issue. I mean, you know, we could get around it, but it's easier not to have to worry about it.
All right, you want to try to pronounce this country before we go to this topic? Should we look it up?
Sure. Latvia.
Is that how you pronounce it? Latvia?
Yeah. Latvia to launch Google Apple friendly coronavirus contact tracing app. Latvia is, I guess, somewhere in Europe, maybe next to Russia or part of Russia.
You're right. I just looked up a video on how to pronounce it.
Okay, yeah. Let me see. Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, maybe part of the former Soviet Union. But yeah, it's like in that area of the world.
Yeah, I didn't look up much about the country. I was more curious on the app. A
Gotcha.
couple awesome things on this is that apparently Singapore and Australia had a version out, but it didn't work very well between Apple, Android, and part of that, it says here in the article, is that Apple's iPhone does not use the Bluetooth short range radio for measuring proximity. I don't know how it was doing it then, but I wonder if it's like an AirDrop. I don't know how AirDrop works at all.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But yeah, if it's not using Bluetooth, I don't know what it is using. And so Latvia was the first country, or I guess country,
yeah.
That is using the latest APIs.
Okay.
Between Apple and Google that talks seamlessly, I would suppose, between the two. And it says that there's a 99% of the phones in the country either run iOS or Android, which is fantastic. So there's no Huawei phones, I guess. That's what they're saying. I really don't know of another Windows phone?
I mean, Windows, BlackBerry was a thing.
Okay.
I think BlackBerry is still a little bit of a thing, but it's probably just old. Like, some people still having the older phones that aren't smartphones, I guess.
Mm.
Oh, but it does say smartphones. Yeah, so it must be like BlackBerry, because I think BlackBerry is technically a smartphone.
Yeah.
As is Windows, of course, but...
Yeah. But it looks like they're rolling out now. So, neat. I don't know if it will roll out globally in time, even for Wave 2, if when that happens. Not getting in that one debate.
Yeah.
If anything, we're going to go to the next topic. Unless you got anything on the app.
No.
No? All right.
Oh. NVIDIA AI watched Pac-Man and made a version of the game you can play soon.
Yep. So the interesting...
If you haven't heard of Pac-Man...
You're 40 years too late.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the Pac-Man's 40th anniversary, so NVIDIA was doing a showcase. 50,000 hours of footage. Now this footage also includes a couple things here. I want to see if I can find it real fast. But the nice part of it is that it doesn't there's no user input or like rules. It was just like here's video footage along with gameplay keystrokes by an artificial agent.
Okay.
So they got the keystrokes so they could see key hit, something changed on screen. Is from my understanding of this. And from 50,000 run throughs.
Yeah. Or episodes, you're right.
Yeah. It was able to rebuild Pac-Man. There's a video here. We're going to risk it, I guess. Right?
Go for it.
We just like scroll a little bit. And so here it is here.
Crazy.
It's super low quality because it's only 50,000 gameplays. But apparently it works.
Okay. Wow.
That's wild to me that we're that
That's
far.
a massive step for AI, yeah.
I don't have much else to say on that. It's amazing that there's no human input. It's just... Now, it does give it the controls, but I think that's a fair argument that you give a video game controls for a video game.
Yeah.
Like, it would be different if it was like a movie and it gave emotional inputs for parts of a movie to write new movies. That would be different.
But if you're going to have a user play it, then...
Yeah, you need a way to put inputs in.
The game data consists of what the user sees on the screen, but also what the user inputs. So, yeah, it makes sense, I think, in this case. Whereas in a movie, all you really get is what the screen displays to the user, and I guess the audio, but you kind of, the human interprets the emotions and stuff, which, yeah. That's pretty crazy. We've talked about RCS a little bit before, and Google Messages is preparing to add end-to-end encryption for RCS messages. This is something that WhatsApp already has, and I think Messenger has the option to enable.
Yeah. And then, of course, iMessage on Apple products have it.
Yes.
But apparently someone tore apart an API, I think, and they found the code. Looks like it'll be rolling out soon.
Okay, yeah. So they found just some code which has values like encrypted RCS message, which implies that that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, you would think, right?
Yeah.
That's where they pull a little switcheroonie on you.
Yeah. Trick you into thinking your stuff's encrypted. I think it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. I don't know why anyone would be against end-to-end encryption.
Well, the government probably won't like it, but because they want to be able to read everything they can. But you know, we won't get into that either.
Yeah. We can skip a couple of those things.
Yeah.
Now, this is really neat. I think we'll do this topic and then the amazing sponsors we have this week.
Oh yes, of course.
The beautiful sponsors. The well-showered sponsors. The thingy from Microsoft.
Microsoft turns bizarre to 11 with fingerprint scanning headphones. You may not know you needed it until now, but
it took me until just now to realize there's a fingerprint with a music note in it.
Oh wow, yeah, I just thought it was like a fingerprint with a line through the middle, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I did too. And then I was like, yeah, then you said headphones, and I was like, it clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, neat artwork, Davey Winder. I like it. Or Getty, I guess. So, the good and the bad on this. Mostly bad from me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the idea of having a fingerprint sensor in my earbuds. If it's earbuds. Because I want my earbuds small. The smaller, the better. I want a speaker and a battery and a Bluetooth transmitter. And that's plenty.
Yes, I agree. And I mean, you're going to be playing the music from your phone anyway. You have to log into your phone to play them through the headphones. I guess I don't understand the purpose of unlocking your headphones.
Yep. So somewhere in the article, I'm not really going to dig for it because I read it once, is that it's another way to securely unlock your headphones because they're Bluetooth. So chances are your headphones are going to be within distance of your phone. Yeah. So instead of having to unlock your phone with your phone in hand, you can tap your earbud and it will unlock your phone for you. There's good and bad on that. I can see the good in that simply so that you don't actually have to pick up your phone to unlock it to see a message or something. So like even on my phone, I have it so if I get a text, it won't show any part of the text or who it's from. It just says new message, which is like a security feature, which is nice.
So if your phone's sitting on your desk and you receive a text, it'll say you got a new message from whoever, but it won't say.
Yeah, or like if I leave it on the front counter at work, and then I walk back to do something, and a customer walks in, and my phone starts beeping, I really don't want, people poking around in my life. But I don't even know where I was going with that sentence.
Oh, one nice thing is that for devices that don't have a fingerprint sensor built in, you could still use this device.
Yes.
So, for example, if I had my old phone, which was just a Motorola G4 or something, if I had the earbuds connected to it, rather than typing in my PIN, I could just touch my earbud and then unlock my phone that way. To tell the truth, this thing has fingerprint sensing, but I just use the PIN.
Is it on the front or the back?
It's on the back. So I don't know if you can see this, but there's this dot here.
Yeah.
And that's where the fingerprint sensor is.
Yeah,
so it's in a very
convenient
place. It's in a very convenient place rather than like a lot of the phones they used to have it right here.
So another benefit of this being on the earbuds is if you have your phone sitting on a wireless charger on your desk, you can then just do that to unlock it. And then you can see that notification, swipe it off, and go back to work, rather than having to pick your phone off the wireless charger and have to deal with the doo-doo, doo-doo.
Okay, so there is a use case for this.
Yep.
But personally, maybe not for me. So it's a cool idea, I guess, but...
Yeah, I think I would prefer to have it not. It's like...
Yeah, like you said, a little bit smaller.
Like, it would be great if the
earbuds.
windows on my car were bigger. But at the same time, I also kind of like protection of impacts. Yeah. Like...
It's a little bit of a trade-off, basically.
But yeah, I can see in some of their headphones. But I definitely would not want it in earbuds.
That's a good point, yeah. Something like these, pretty big. Yeah. It wouldn't be a big deal. But, yeah, for earbuds, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cause, I actually use wireless Bluetooth earbuds on the motorcycle. And I actually ended up buying 3 pairs and having to return 2 of them. I'd buy one. It wasn't happy. And the reason I wasn't happy is because they were soft buttons with haptic feedback. And they were like sensors, essentially. Okay. And I couldn't push them through the helmet. So when I stick my helmet on, the helmet's tight enough that the earbuds stick out just far enough that if I push on the side of the helmet, I wouldn't be able to hit the one button. And the 2 pairs that had buttons on the earbud were software, haptic feedback, touch sensitive buttons.
Gotcha.
And it took a 3rd try to get a pair off Amazon that had the physical button. And
gotcha.
It's nice to be able to rewind the bike or something. And if I need to pause music or play music, that's really the only thing. that's all you can do with the button. Yeah. I don't have to try to unlock the phone or anything.
Okay.
I could just push on the side of my helmet and pause the music. But yeah, there are benefits of having buttons. Speaking of benefits, this stream has 2 benefactors, if that's the right way to use that word.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
All right, sweet. I'm going first. This video is brought by me. I already went first.
He's got a lot of videos.
Dude, I got so many videos.
Video today was about like selecting all, right? And copying and pasting.
Control A, Control C, Control V.
Which sounds so obvious, but a lot of people don't know how to do it. So I really like that.
It's like a 3-minute video on trying to understand how selecting words works. Because if you don't understand it, it's mind-blowing. Kind of like a car. If you don't understand how a car works and see how it actually works, it's pretty amazing.
Did you use, like, I don't know if it's an analogy or whatever, but Control A is like all, selecting all.
Yeah.
C is cut. I don't know about V, but
V is impossible, man.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's closer than P. Is that why?
So C is not cut. C is copy.
Copy. You're right. X is cut.
There's a big difference. And yeah, we didn't do X because
yeah. There's really X can come in handy occasionally, but really you can just copy and then hit backspace or something.
Yeah, that's what you should do is hit backspace.
Yeah. Easier to keep everything simple.
Yeah. Tomorrow's videos are super cool. It's how to do a boot time virus scan built in Windows. So how Windows has a built-in virus scanner that scans on startup before programs get loaded.
Okay.
And before it connects to the internet, which is great. So it's an offline scanner.
Is it pretty easy to set up?
It's like 2 buttons.
Okay.
Yeah. It's built into I forgot the name. Windows Security.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I think I got 8 more videos and I hit my 50 mark. So it's 2 work weeks but I think it's Wednesday or Thursday is my last one, so a week and a half.
That you already have recorded, or your last one?
Yeah,
I gotcha.
and I got all 50.
Okay.
And then we're probably gonna take a break for a little bit from basics on Windows 10 because it's getting very hard
to come up with new. Yeah.
I'm thinking I might do like a 3-part videos on programs I like. It's like VLC or Chrome or LibreOffice.
That's a cool idea.
And do like a first part install, second part setup, basic usage, and third part be like customization or weird quirks that I personally like about it.
Gotcha.
But I don't know,
features that you use a lot or something like that.
Yeah, I'm always open to suggestions because
I like that. Maybe even you could do like an introduction, why you use this program or why you chose it over other things.
Yeah.
Which I've wanted to do that for a while with Inkscape, which is what I use to edit my thumbnails, and just obviously haven't got around to it.
And it would be great. Yeah, so something like Inkscape would be great because I have no idea how to use Inkscape. But then like I like Photoshop and I like Cinema 4D. And there's a couple of programs that I'm okay at. I can use them and stumble through. But then if you open up Inkscape in front of me, it's
Inkscape is like the learning curve is just
yeah,
and then, like, it narrows down. But it's because it is open source, I guess, and there's technically documentation out there, but it's not user friendly to
documentation is not a video tutorial.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, this video is also brought by
J-Mart Media. I used to post programming videos.
I mean, I actually looked at yours right before we started streaming. I was like, I wonder if he did any videos this week. Inkscape, man, you got it.
I know, right? I know. I just need to put aside the time and do it.
Yeah. Give like a week and a half, and then we can sit in opposite rooms and hold each other to it.
Yeah. Now that quarantine's like wearing down or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, we can put the computers outside and run 2 power cords.
Yeah. Or live stream from a kayak. I would love to have more of a mobile live stream setup.
So I'm actually working on a mobile live stream setup. I'll talk to you about it after this stream.
Okay.
But I will be talking about it on camera soon.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, that's another good idea for topics. Things that people would be interested in, like we talked about last week with the Venn diagram. Things that you're interested in.
Yeah.
Things that other people are interested in, specifically like content creators, and then people that things that your audience is interested in. So, cool. All
right, we are going to one of them. Oh, that's still Forbes. How do we go farther down? There it is. Polygon.
Ooh, Polygon.
So to be honest with you, I really didn't read this article. I was kind of hoping that if you read any article, it would be this 45 paragraph article.
Nintendo's Ring Fit Adventure removed the toxicity from my workouts.
So the first thing I want to do is compare this to like VR. Because that's what I feel like this is Ring Fit is almost VR without the goggles.
Maybe like a combination of the Wii Fit board.
Yeah, and it's all from this picture VR. Here. Where she's doing yoga, and one, I don't know what they call them, nunchucks, controller wedges, whatever, is in the wheel, and the other one is strapped on her leg. And so she's interacting with the game with her full body like you would in VR. But it's just... I guess you could technically get away because VR is just virtual reality, and that's a virtual reality.
Yeah. Wow, this is a lot of text here.
Yeah, it's a very... While you look at it real fast, I'll do a slow scroll down this opinion article by Sam Grisez. Look at... I like the idea of it. And I could definitely see how it would remove the toxicity from a workout simply because you're in a private home environment. But like with VR or video games in general, it often removes that at-home feel. So it's not the same as having a giant weight machine in a room or a treadmill in a room, because it still feels like home. And that's one reason I think gyms do so well, is that you're in a different space, which gets you in a different mindset.
Yeah.
So then when you're playing a video game or you're playing VR, you're in a different mindset than that home mindset. And I think that's part of why this worked out.
It says the game pushes you to choose goals based on amazing things you can train your body to do, such as running a 5K, climbing a particular tricky rock wall, or easily lifting 250-pound St. Bernard. So I guess more focusing on fitness, like keeping your body fit rather than worrying about your body mass index or how much you weigh.
Okay.
Because I guess people can take that overboard and
they start perfecting on the numbers.
Yeah, like you see all these bodybuilders and they're absolutely ripped and their muscles are just bulging out of their skin. That's actually not healthy.
It's not great looking.
Technically,
either.
Maybe you could say they're fit, but they're not. That can be unhealthy. It can be bad on your skeletal system, like your knees, because you're carrying around all that weight that your body's not meant to hold. And so it seems like that's kind of what Ring Fit Adventure is focusing on, is what your body is capable of, and really focusing on fitness and practical stuff that you can do, like functional fitness.
That makes sense, though.
So, yeah, cool idea. Yeah, and I see this picture near the bottom of the article of the girl holding the ring above her head.
Yeah.
So that's the device, okay. I don't know how successful this is going to be. VR is pretty cool because you're really into the game.
Yeah, really captivates you.
Yeah.
I'm afraid this will be more like the Wii Fit, where it's fun for the
I
first
kind of agree with you.
2 weeks, and then you're like, all right, well, now I'm sore.
Yeah.
Well, with VR, you can play one game for 2 weeks, and then play a different game for 2 weeks, and then play a different game for 2 weeks, and you can keep going, and then you can find games that you really like. So like, I'm pretty much playing like the same 4 games over and over, and that's 4 games I enjoy. Clearly, they're not the best workout. Clearly, I need more video games in my life.
But for example, kayaking is like a functional exercise where you get stronger, but it's not like that unhealthy level of fitness, like
and then
a bodybuilder.
And then I was out kayaking today with somebody, and got him a good chuckle. I told him I picked kayaking because it was one of the few physical sports that let me sit down.
Yeah. Little did you know how much work it is.
Good Lord. Like, it's going to work out for your legs. You're sitting down, and your legs are... my legs are still getting a workout.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're supposed to be, but, you know, different bodies, different exercises.
That brings us to Google Chrome is finally rolling out a long-awaited feature to help cure your bad tab habits. We talked about this for a bit last week, about how you can now group your browser tabs. So rather than having 50 tabs open in your Chrome browser, you can maybe group down all of your news tabs into one group. That way it takes up less space. And theoretically, it can make it easier to find things and just less cluttered. And then now you can actually use this feature and kind of test this feature. It looks like it's currently available in the Chrome beta. And you can try it by typing Chrome : //flags. Look it up.
Yeah. Here, I'll put it on screen right fast for you.
Yeah.
There you go. Right there. But, yeah, you can try it out while it's in beta, or you can wait 2 weeks, honestly. Like...
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be obtrusive, like...
What
I don't
we
think
were
it's going to
worrying
cause
about.
you issues. Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah, it's always great when something doesn't screw up your entire workflow.
Wow, that's really nice. Whereas you should pretty much be able to take that for granted, you would think.
So I really didn't pick out a specific article here.
Okay, about the Guinness Book of World Records?
Yes. I just did the whole entire Google News subcategory.
Okay, yeah. So this week...
I'm doing rock, paper, shotgun.
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah, sure.
This week, YouTube's automated content ID system, which is what flags potential stolen content, YouTube's algorithm copyrighted a lot of Super Mario speedruns, saying that Guinness Book of World Records, or Guinness World Records, had the copyright on the information. So basically just a false positive that Google's algorithm came up with.
So here's a question. When it gets a copyright claim, the original owner would then lose all their ad revenue. I believe that's how that works. During the time that it's being debated or up for debate. I believe that's how that works. And saying I apologize, is that enough to the speedrunners versus getting some type of financial compensation? Like, should there be
a
something
payback, basically, for the time that it wasn't monetized?
Because they're like, I don't believe there should be a payback if it was a true accident.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you're doing it in bulk, so this was something that was done, and I would consider done in bulk.
Yeah, it said it was 40 copyright claims simultaneously, and other speedrunners as well. So, I don't know. The whole YouTube copyright strikes, and that's so confusing to me still.
Yeah.
Because
it sounds like it's a guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah, it kind of is. Like, your stuff gets flagged, and then you have to appeal it. It sounds like it won't have any long-term effects on his channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, he could have lost out on some revenue while they were copyright claimed or whatever.
Like, it may not be much. It may be like $2 or $3 over 2 days or something. But
still, I mean, there's a potential
times 40.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they could have made, a income.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's pretty much all I had on the topic.
Yeah.
It's just not great news.
Maps quietly updated with a new feature that nobody's gonna like. This webpage is super cluttered, but in the middle, there's some information and some screenshots of the new stuff. And basically, it's square icons that show up for businesses or locations, but they're not just icons representing businesses in the area. They're actually advertisements, and they can't just be removed. It's like you can go into your layers, I guess, in the app and hide things that you don't want to see, but these advertisements can't be removed.
So it's not like the business that's at that geolocation is paying for their name to be the business that pops up for that location?
I think that's what it is. It has to be, though, right?
Because if a IKEA is at a corner intersection, they would pay Google Maps so that it says IKEA is at that corner intersection and not the McDonald's is at the corner intersection.
Yeah. I think that's how it's going to work. Because otherwise, if it was literally just an advertisement,
yeah,
that would cause humongous issues with the whole mapping.
Yeah, I would see that.
It's basically like almost like sponsored results in a web search, in a way. Like you Google for something, and then you have relevant ads that pop up, and you can pay to be up at the top of those search results. So in a way, I feel like this is kind of similar. If you're hovering over a certain corner, maybe a shopping center, you can pay to have your business displayed first, or
I would have thought that before this, that whatever business had the most reviews for that specific location would be the one that shows up as like, hey, this is the IKEA of the shopping center.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Like maybe most visits combined somehow with the reviews, combined with photos, that kind of thing. Yeah. Combined with like the star result or the star rating.
Yeah. And then I would almost be okay that if they did have a pay to be on top in that case.
Mm-hmm.
So then a new business has a chance to be up there for a month or something. That would give them a fighting chance.
So people in the local area can find out about them. Yeah.
And then that's also an easy way for them to get money from the bigger chain corporations that just have advertising money that they have to throw somewhere.
Yeah. So it's another form of income for Google that maybe means they won't do something else that we don't like.
Yep. On the downside, I see this as super aggravating because I'll have customers call my store and they'll be like, oh, okay, where exactly are you located? And I'll be like, oh, I'm right across the street from this place, or I'm right beside these people. I'm like, oh, okay. And now there's no way to be like, oh yeah, if you just look on your maps, it will show up. Like now I have to pay, even though I might have the most reviews in the
the little shopping strip.
The strip, that's the word. But we'll see what it looks like when it rolls out, I guess.
Yeah.
I almost want to save this one till last because we can go through all 107 of them.
Yeah, that sounds good.
In under 5 minutes. That I just don't want number 14 to be the last one.
Yeah. Going to Zoom. Zoom has temporarily removed Giphy from its chat feature.
So one of the not conspiracy, that's not the right word. The motives people are thinking that they removed Giffy is that it has been recently bought by Facebook.
Okay. And I guess, what is Giphy? Giphy is basically almost like a keyboard plugin that you can search for and find GIFs, right? And just post them easily, rather than having to Google for the GIF and find a link and then copy the link and post the link. You can just use like somewhat of a keyboard plugin.
Most of the time they're just like reaction GIFs. So you can be like virtual hug and it'll show you a whole bunch of GIFs of virtual hugs. Or you can type in like nah and you'll get the little head nodding nah GIFs.
Okay. And gotcha.
I don't know why they were in Zoom to begin with, to be honest with you.
Yeah, especially since it's not really a messaging platform.
Yeah, like it does have
a lot, but
yeah, so you can send messages to the entire group or to specific people.
Okay.
But that's definitely not what Zoom's centered around. I would say Zoom is centered around the video conference experience.
Definitely, yeah.
But
so it says it's just like a privacy and security issue with like you said, Facebook. It says Facebook has had well-documented issues with privacy and security. So
and it continues in the article. It says that it happened just a few days after Facebook acquired them for $300 million, and it's yet to be seen on how platforms like Twitter, TikTok, and iMessage, which all compete as messaging platforms to Facebook, will keep it, they'll move to another, did Facebook just buy a $300 million replaceable keyboard?
Yeah. I don't think Discord uses it, but actually it might. No, I don't think it does. It looks like maybe Discord uses Tenor or something. Tenor.
Okay, yep, that's another one.
Okay. Yep,
and they can
Tenor Giphy keyboard. Okay.
Yeah, they can all just move to that.
Yeah. Basically something that's not owned by one of their competitors.
Yeah. But then, we'd say that, fair. But then Samsung produces screens for iPhones for Apple.
Yeah.
And then Samsung sells their own phones. So it's like, why not? Why not make products for your competitor? It's money.
Yeah. So this may be a temporary thing. So we'll see.
Yep. Yeah, they might just be playing it safe, which is super weird to say that Zoom is playing it safe.
Yeah. They've had their own security and privacy issues.
This one I don't have too much to say about. It was kind of interesting because it's definitely not what you would have thought.
Okay.
So there's an article over here by CNBC. I have no idea what that stands for. Why the coronavirus might change dating forever, specifically online dating. This article is also like 47 paragraphs. It's unreal how long some of these things are. But it's mostly talking about Match.com or Match Group, which owns Tinder, Hinge, Plenty of Fish, and most likely Match.com.
Interesting.
Yeah. Another interesting one is that Wedding Wire owns both Wedding Wire and the sister competitor, The Knot. Those are the only two places brides go for finding venues and DJs and cake decorators and flowers, whatever they're called. And the same company owns both of them. It's crazy. That
kind of like a monopoly there. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a monopoly there. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no other Facebook Marketplace is the third best option.
Wow.
But there's several spots in this. I tried to read the whole thing because it kind of intrigued. But so apparently user sign up and engagement and usage shot through the roof.
I can believe that.
Anywhere from 90 to 130%, literal doubling in users. But their average revenue per user pretty much hit zero because so many users signed up for the free version, but none of them signed up and paid for it.
So it's kind of like an even playing field in a way. If everybody's using the free version,
yes,
then there's not as big of an advantage of moving to the paid version.
Well, I think there'd be almost a bigger advantage because now, instead of you being 1 in 10 people on the paid version, you're 1 in 100 people on the paid version. It makes you more attractive. That's not the right word, but superior.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it makes.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, you're the top at this point 1%ers according to the chart of people paying for it.
Okay.
But interesting parts was Bumble saw a 26% increase on messages on its platform, and then somewhere else it shows that not many people are using their video chat feature inside of Bumble, and then the usage shot through the roof. I'm seeing if I can find that percentage. But then there's features on these dating apps that nobody was using that all of a sudden became the reason that people are using that dating platform.
Gotcha. I guess people are just getting more comfortable too with communicating online, like the video thing, because I never really video chatted before this. I mean, I still don't, but
you're about the only person I video chat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then they even go in
a family video chat.
Yeah.
Extended family video chat.
Yeah,
once a month or something.
Yeah, or holiday, say hey real fast. Yeah, they go on to talk about that visual and auditory cues only go so far when on a virtual date, because you're missing sense of smell, which apparently is it says you're missing one of your sense of smell, and for women, it's a major way to judge genetic compatibility. I have no idea what that means.
That sounds so advanced.
Yeah, I was like
you're thinking through in your head, I wonder if I'm genetically compatible.
And I was like, or like, did he shower within the last 7 days? Like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
You know, do they smell like drugs?
Yeah. One of this talks about kind of like the culture change. Up near the top of the article, it says, quoting someone using one of these apps, "I have literally 4 dates planned tonight," said Serena Kerrigan, a 26-year-old New Yorker single and creative director. "There's no dealing with the logistics. Who's going to split the bill? Are you going to kiss me after the date?" There's so many different things that are very distracting. So just like kind of a culture change too with the whole dating thing or whatever.
Yeah, I forgot what we were talking about last time, but this takes out the video conference for judging for courtrooms. And this takes out a lot of the things that aren't just straight facts or straight personality.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, down again at the bottom of the article, it says that another key ingredient that's missing for virtual chats is oxytocin, which is activated by touch. And that's like a real thing. Like, people get touch deprived. And it's just like not having skin-on-skin contact.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I don't know how much skin-on-skin contact most people have on first dates in comparison. But, you know, that is something that's missing on a virtual chat.
Yeah. And you can't really replicate that. Yeah.
The benefit of a virtual chat is that your internet can just go out whenever you're done chatting.
Yeah.
But, no, it's interesting to see that, sure enough, it did skyrocket through the roof. But I would have thought that the payment would have also gone up.
I would have expected that too.
Because instead of meeting in bars or clubs or libraries or parks or wherever people meet, you're talking to a computer guy, wherever people meet, instead of spending money at that geolocation, you think that they would spend money on an app to weed out all those weirdo freebie users.
Mm-hmm.
But instead it looks like everyone's just using free, which is a different result than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yep. It says that virtual dating is saving Americans millions of dollars by not having to go out on dinner dates.
Yeah.
I could believe it.
Yeah. Just a lot of money in general not going out to eat.
Yeah.
Or just out shopping.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really go out and shop. If I'm shopping for something, it's probably on Amazon. But
yeah, most of the time I shop, it's through websites so that it's easier to price match.
Mm-hmm.
They're not sure if this is going to lead to a giant wedding boom. So as states start easing up and people are going out, if this will line up all the dating, which will line up all the marriages, and if this quarantine will lead to this weird techno baby boom.
Yeah.
As like you're basically telling everyone to separate, hold them separated for 2 months or longer, and be like, all right, and now you can start talking to each other, making connections, and then telling everyone that they are free to meet each other at the same time.
Basically just releasing everybody all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just a theory that another baby boom could happen because of this weird
being forced to be apart. Yeah.
Speaking of being forced, somebody watched 107 Disney animated films.
Was it over a couple years? Yeah, 5 years.
Hallelujah. All right.
So what's that? That's like 20 a year, maybe one every other week-ish.
Dude,
we're pulling up less than one every other wish.
We're pulling up a calculator right now. An average movie is an hour and 40 minutes. I'll fight you on that, which is exactly 100 minutes. So 100 minutes times 107 films. And we're dividing that by 60 to make numbers look right. 178 hours. Holy cow. You could watch 178 hours for the time we've been in quarantine. So, anyone could have done this.
178 hours. Yeah, 172 hours in a week, so.
Yeah, you could have done it easily since the last live stream.
No.
Played at 1.25 speed, right?
And not sleep at all.
Yeah.
The hardest part would be staying awake.
Let's see here. Guess over on the other screen.
Oof. And it also says, full disclosure number 1, there are actually 120 animated theatrical Disney movies ever released, but we excluded 13 of them that were either half animation, super racist, or not available for streaming in the United States. Well, that's interesting.
And then, of course, it says that it's just what him and his 3 kids think of the movies.
Yeah. So it's just their opinion, basically. Which, yeah.
The only other thing that I would be interested in is them list what place it is and then when they watched it. So, like, the worst movie on their list is Fantasia, with just Nope. It would have been interesting to see if this was movie 1 or movie 107 or movie 43.
Yeah, because as they watch more Disney movies, they may either be getting tired of Disney movies or they may form some kind of, I guess, they might tend to prefer a different type of movie over time. As the kids age, especially being that young. I mean, I don't know how young they were, but...
Yeah. 3 kids over 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, when you're 5 years old, 5 years is a lot of time. You can change a lot.
It's literally all the time.
Yeah, it's half your life. You want to read over all of them?
Not really. Did you already scroll to the bottom?
Let me scroll to the bottom.
What do you think the number 1 movie is? 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3,
or maybe just
no
1.
Idea.
I wasn't even close.
I won't be close either. I know a lot of people like the Frozen movies, but I feel like they're overrated for what they are. I haven't watched them. I personally kind of liked Tangled, I think.
Okay, I like
Nemo.
Tangled.
Is Nemo made by Disney?
Pixar. Which is owned by Disney.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know if
so that would be on this list, right?
There's a Nemo. There's
I know Nemo is like a classic movie.
Yep, yeah. Finding Nemo is number 25.
Wow. Okay. It can't be Frozen because that movie's got to be so overrated.
Frozen was 7.
Was it? Okay, that's pretty high.
Yeah. Now he had 2 girls that were watching the movies with him.
It's not Cinderella, is it?
Adult male and 2 girls. It's not Cinderella. You're gonna be so dumbfounded. I couldn't believe it was.
All right, what is it?
You can scroll down to the bottom. It was WALL-E.
WALL-E. Oh wow, yeah, that would have not even been on my radar for the best movie. Peter Pan. Okay, I guess I can see that. Toy Story. Okay, I wasn't even thinking Toy Story, but I should have guessed one of the Toy Story movies because those are so classic.
Yeah.
The Lion King. Okay. Monsters Universe.
Yeah, when I heard they ranked all of the Disney movies, the first thing that came to mind was Lion King. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, Lion King is the Disney movie.
I guess there's so many kind of classic Disney movies. Up. Tangled is 24, okay. Just before Nemo, Finding Nemo. Yeah, I haven't seen very many of these, though. I can tell you that. It's a lot of movies.
And we passed an hour.
Hey, speaking of over 100.
We did it.
Wait,
over
no,
100 seconds.
Seconds, yeah. Over
Go
60
us.
minutes. Over 100% of an hour.
Yeah, that works.
But not 100 minutes.
All right, so I changed those encoding presets.
Yes.
We are sitting at 53 to 51% on our CPU.
Wow, that's so much better.
My CPU might actually be able to survive. But we are clocked at 4.18 gigahertz. So we are clocked up in the 4 gigahertz range.
Okay. And our video quality seems good enough, for a live stream.
Yeah, man, we got to set you up with a camera. I'm going to bother you about that every week.
Oh, it's down here somewhere.
It's
right next to my capture card. Now that you have 2 cameras.
Yeah. My other one's at work, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet, sweet. I think that's pretty much all the tech news.
Oh, yep. We covered
14.
it all.
And on that note, we'll
We'll
talk
see
about
you
it
next
next time. Yeah. We got to work on talking one after the other at the end.
Yeah.